Previously on the Traveling Together Journal, we built our own ridiculous yet functional home on wheels and set out on an epic road trip. We spent 6 months exploring the beautiful and massively diverse country of Mexico before entering Central America through the Caribbean country of Belize, and then on into Guatemala, which we explored from east to west through the Central Mountains and colonial cities back to the Pacific coast. Recently leaving our beach camp, we have our sights set on the infamous Guatemala-El Salvador border crossing.
We are now headed to El Salvador. It's almost 4 o'clock though, so there is a hotel, not a nice hotel, but a hotel pretty darn close to the border, so we're gonna go ahead and stay the night there so that we can get a nice early start on the El Salvador border, which rumor is it's horrible. It's really, really horrible. Just lines and lines and lines and lines of big semi trucks trying to get through and no one obeying. If there is even any lines for getting in through the border, no one obeying it. There's just chaos. I've seen pictures. Absolute chaos. And people being at the border for hours. So we just want to get a nice early start on it.
This line of trucks leading up to the border was so long that we had to stop and get fuel halfway through. Seriously though, this line started about 10 miles before the actual border crossing, and according to a driver we met that imports old school buses from the US to El Salvador for a living, the commercial drivers can take 2 to 4 days to get through this border. Lucky for us, we're not commercial, and we can legally drive on the other side of the road to pass all these trucks. This worked out pretty well until traffic from El Salvador trying to go the other direction wanted to use their side of the road.
So that huge semi trying to go in between other semis. This is mayhem.
It was a bit hectic at times, but we did eventually make it to our hotel before dark, and after a little convincing that Jagger was a nice dog that wouldn't jump on the bed, we had ourselves some secure parking and a room with air conditioning for the night.
Ready to go to dinner?
Yep.
Alright, let's go. Don't move too fast.
I know, I'm old and I hurt myself.
Gracias. Buen provecho. Oh, here is our little dinner for this evening.
Our little feast.
Little feast, look at that. That's a lot of food.
Fresh off the Barbie. After a tasty dinner and a good night's sleep, we headed to the border, which was less than a quarter mile from our hotel, so we got there nice and early. Our first stop was the immigration office, where we quickly and easily checked ourselves out of Guatemala. Next, we went to an office that was conveniently located in the adjacent building to close the temporary import permit for our truck. This is when things got a little convoluted. In order to cancel the import permit, we had to get copies made of my passport pages where they put the import permit and my exit stamp. But we were at the border before the copy shop was open. So we ended up hiring our first and only helper or fixer of the trip. He took us down some back alleys where there was another copy shop that was open, got the copies made, and then translated for us while we got the permit canceled. Then, to our surprise, he jumped on a motorcycle and met us on the other side of the frontera to help us get into El Salvador.
And now he is guiding us past this massive line of trucks, which we did know that we could just pass this, but I think once you get up closer to the border, it can be even more chaotic.
This particular border crossing seemed to involve a lot more people looking at our passports. I'm not really sure what they were looking for, but they were satisfied, handed us back our documents, and would wave us along. When we finally got parked on the El Salvadorian side of the border crossing, we quickly went to immigration and easily got stamped into the country. Next, we went over to Aduana to get our temporary import permit for the truck, and once again found a little bit of difficulty here. They wanted copies of my tourist visa that I just acquired, and so we had to once again go find a place that made copies, Luckily, our helper knew exactly where to go and helped us through the process. With the necessary copies made and the forms filled out, we headed back to Aduana and got our temporary import permit and showed one more guy all of our documents before getting waved on into El Salvador.
Border of El Salvador, and now we are headed on our way up to Parque Nacional El Imposible. And I read that the reason the park is called El Imposible is because the coffee farmers used to use these trails to get their coffee to the Pacific coast, and a lot of them would die.
Nice story.
Well, that's why it's called El Imposible.
Upon arrival, we were greeted by a helpful park ranger who allowed us to set up camp near the main building. They had a visitor center full of educational exhibits about the flora, fauna, geology, and history of the area, as well as a trail map that we studied closely to plan our hike for the next day.
And maybe tomorrow we'll do Cerro El Leon. It's a very popular, big, long loop up and around and back where we're camped. Wow. Ooh.
Sure.
I'm not sure if this is safe.
Oh, look at that lizard.
Where?
On the tree.
Well, this doesn't seem hardly fair. The last sign that we saw that said Cerro Leon said 3 kilometers.
That was like a half kilometer ago.
We do have our Garmin handheld GPS thingy on, so we can at least do backtracking if we get lost. Like a little bunny.
I think that's where we're headed.
Way up there? Like right there? We're getting there. Alright. We made it. Pretty cool. What was that, Matt?
Next time on the Traveling Together Journal, we're back under the palm trees, but this time we're in El Salvador. We have a rooftop pool party with some new friends and hunt down some fun waves. Hey guys, I'm glad you enjoyed that episode, and I'm excited to tell you all about a project we've been working on that's coming out next week. We are going to release a list of our favorite overland travel channels here on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss out on that by subscribing and hitting that notification bell. If you're watching from the future, well, you can probably just click the link right here to check that video out. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.